What are we going to do, Tom?
Have any idea? Way down the other world.
All right, we'll just play something, try to get limbered up. Belonged to Merle. This is his Martin D28 Dreadnought, 1938. And it's got the original Bigsby neck that was built by Paul Bigsby. The reason that the tuning pegs are all on one side is kind of an interesting story in itself. Fender, of course, copied this whole design. The reason Trav had Bigsby build it is he used to put guitar down in his lap and change the strings, which I got to do since this is through. And he'd put 3 on one side and then say, it just mess you up trying to put strings on the guitar. And, so he told Paul, he said, if you would build a neck, and he sketched it out, where all the strings go straight and make it look just like a fiddle. So it'd be simple if you make it like a fiddle and all the strings would be in line and you'd be able to take care of it. Well, Paul built the neck, but it came up like a fiddle. And then when Travis put his E string on, he'd reach over there and hit his knuckle, and he said that didn't work too good for him either. He says, instead of being like a fiddle, why don't you just bend your own down? Is that right, John? Right. And so that's how the neck came to be. This old guitar has had helped ride 16 tons, and dark as a dungeon, and all those things. So I'll pick you one on it. Let you hear what it sounds like. That's how I felt.
I'll try something slow. I'm going to play this early in the morning. Try something slow. This is a pretty song called You Needed Me. Figure out how to play it.
You have that in the book?
No, that's not in the book. I like having the book.
You said that way we could all steal it. I do. I always love this song here. Well, the ugliest fella that I ever seen was long lost John. Bowling green, no hat on his head, no shoes on his feet. Begging the women for spread of meat. One woman said, Johnny, what can you eat? He said, 49 biscuits and ham and meat. He was long gone, long gone. He was long gone, bowling green. Well, he was long gone, long gone. He was long gone, bowling green. I feel I lost John there. Well, lost John went to the woman's house, just crept in the kitchen as quiet as a mouse. The woman said, lost John, have a chair and I'll send a porter for a bucket of beer. Never mind a porter, never mind a beer. The hound's on my trail and I can't stay here. Gotta get along. He was long gone. He was long gone, bowling green. Well, he was long gone, long gone. He was long gone, bowling green. Well, lost John went to the railroad track, waiting for a freight train to come back. Along came the freight train, just flying. He missed the cow catcher, but he got the blind, had to get along. He was long gone, yeah, long gone, bowling green. street, begging the women for his bread and meat. One woman said, Johnny, what can you eat? He said, 49 biscuits and ham and meat. And he was long gone, yeah, long gone, Bowling Green. Well, he was long gone, long gone. He was long gone from Bowling Green. I guess if anybody has any questions, you can just holler them right out. And Tommy and I'll make up an answer. A question.
How do you like to tune? Because if I tune by harmonics, well then the octaves seem off down in the first position. But if I tune that way, then the harmonics are off up in the third position.
I've always, if I tune with, like, see how close that is, tune with harmonics, that's about as far as I'll go, is up to the G string. And I never rely on the harmonics for the B and the E string, but yeah, that's a little off there. Of course, these strings are a little off. But do you have any kind of a...
I'll never use harmonics. I usually tend to octaves. And when I tend to octaves, I just check the chord and try to adjust each string. I can hear octaves better than unison. It's hard for me to tune two strings together. But I've never used harmonics.
I'm one for, you know, split. I'll tune like these, you know. There's a tune there. Check it, it's they're a little north and south of each other. I usually, no, I will go off. I'm bad when they ask about that tune and have to listen to that, Lord. That's close.
Tell us about your guitar.
Well, this is a Gallagher guitar. It's Ready Time Special model with a few modifications, cut away, and the neck's the fingerboard's a little wider than normal. I had made this same width of another guitar that I used to play. So I felt a little more comfortable. I don't play this one often enough. It feels a little strange. I should play it more often.
What gauge strings do you prefer?
I use fairly light gauge. That's 10 for about, I believe that's 48 of the bass. The three bass are silk and steel. Sometimes I use just steel, plain steel wound. I can use a smaller gauge with silk and steel without the string buzzing. So one maybe it doesn't vibrate as much or move as far.
There's a 10 on top?
Yeah.
This is about a 12 here. And this is 54 on the bottom. The only reason I know that is that when I got some strings out, I checked to see what I had on this from the pack that was in there before. But normally I use like medium gauge. And Travis is always real big on D'Angelico strings. He liked medium gauge D'Angelico. And I have a hard time finding those anymore.
Anything you like goes off the market.
My gut string, I like a string called the Arabesque. You carry those?
I've seen those. I used them.
What?
Those are good strings.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find them since.
That gauge string at the top, is that the reason why that guitar is such a nice deep tone? Of course, I know that woodwork has part
It's that wood. This guitar sounds different. I can't get this sound on any guitar. It always had its own sound. I remember as a little kid listening to Travis and the sound. This guitar and Johnny Bond used to have an old Martin about the same area of time. They both had that similar sound. But just the older this thing gets, it seems to have that real, I mean, these strings are really old too. And tonight I'll have a new set of strings on it. It's got such a, it's mellow, but yet it's got a brightness, but there's a real round sound to it.
Somebody asked me a while ago how I learned to play fingerstyle. I've heard Merle Travis, and I didn't have any idea how he was doing it. You know, I tried to play fingerstyle, just did something like go up to another chord. I heard about a man named Mose Rager that lived in Drexler not too far away, and I went to see Mose. The first thing I saw was how he was playing a bass note and a chord like that. He was keeping time with his thumb. It's like a bass, and then he played the rhythm on the other beat. That was one of the first things I learned. Mose would play bass, play his own bass and rhythm, and lead three parts at the same time. But you know, he was doing other things I didn't realize for a long time. It took a long time. He was using chord substitutions too. So when he played my Old Kentucky Home, instead of just the three chords, so with the chord substitution, that created a moving bass line. So the bass went down like that. So he like that. So actually there was a moving bass line, melody, and rhythm. And I wonder why you couldn't put in a harmony line at the same time. I guess so the harmony moved up at the same time the bass moved down. So
They showed off again.
So actually there are four parts together. There's a moving bass line, rhythm, melody, and harmony. And I didn't realize that for a long time. I learned to play the tune, but I didn't know what I was doing for a long time. So
Well, you talk about Mose. I did a song Trav wrote about Mose. By the way he makes a guitar moan, hanging around, singing around the country store, just picking like a chicken, picking up corn in every gallon they can. Jitters all around him 'cause he's got rhythm in his bones. Yeah, the feet start scooting with a shuffle and drag every time they hear the rhythm of the guitar rag. He gets a moaning tone, he gets a grumbling groan. Yeah, when he gets picking and plucking the string, well, he can make the deacon do the bucking wing. All the fat and skinny does a little shimmy, and the head start to wiggle and wag. Yeah, the feet start scooting with a shuffle and drag every time they hear the rhythm of the guitar rattling like this. Moaning tone, he gets grumbling groan. Yeah, when he gets picking and plucking a string, well, he can make the deacon do the bucking wing. On the fat and skinny does a little shimmy, and their heads start to wiggle and wag. Yeah, the feet start scooting with a shuffle and drag every time I heard Travis play the guitar rag. Here's a pretty song. All yours.
I have a new book that is not even printed yet. I stopped at the publishing company on the way over and picked up a few copies, so I can have some here today. But it's a fingerstyle trilogy. It's a tribute to the three men who were the greatest influence on my music, the three men that I love to play from. Merle Travis, Mose Rager, and Chet Atkins. And the first three tunes in the book are tributes to those three men. So I'll try to play a little bit of each one of those tunes. I'll play the first tune. That's a tribute to Chet Atkins, and this tune try to convey the feeling that I felt in the 50s when I used to hear him play. So it's not like Chet, but too bad, I only missed it for one fret. And Tim, that's a tribute to Merle. It's some of Merle's licks. I can't play like Merle, but it's just some licks that Merle's I tried to put together. Sort of gives me the feeling that I used to feel when I heard him play solo. it, but I can't remember it. I'll have to look at the book. And the one that's attributed to Mose is an old blues, sort of like I used to hear Mose play. Maybe some of you've heard this. There's a gentleman I was talking to before I came in here. Oh, there you go. Wanted to hear, you got change sides? Oh, I didn't miss anything here. No, I don't. Thank you. We were talking, you wanted to hear, what was it, bugle call rack?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll pick it for you. Do you use a wound third? Yeah. Wasn't sure which one to pull out of it. Okay, here it is again. I guess Travis, of course, my biggest influence. Brought up around him, watching him. I remember as a little kid, sitting watching this guitar right here, head about here. You know, I get home, I just try to pick. But Chet was also an influence because of what he was to Travis. Of course, Chet was influenced by Merle too. And Jerry Reed was another influence. I found that Jerry was kind of bluegrass, and he just, like Merle would play, his bass would be a lot different. And Chet would be bass much more precise, less feeling. Little humor there, now come on. And Jerry was all feeling, you know, just grab him, hold him, son, well, now, hammer. It's just a little humor, baby. Just grab him, hold him, and start taking, you know. But, I'm going to attempt to play one of Chet's that he stole. What's the guy that did Stars and Stripes Forever? Leonard Kurowski or
Van Dusen.
What is it? Now he must have got it from someone too. Well, anyway, whoever did Stars and Stripes Forever, Chet borrowed the arrangement and figured it out. And I was at a camping trip one time in the Catskill Mountains with 2 weeks. I was sitting up there and I had this on a cassette, and I thought, well, I'm going to learn to pick this Stars and Stripes Forever. And I'm going to try to play it on this guitar right now. This is borrowed from Chet, who borrowed it from Van Duser. And he got it from John Philip Sousa. Now I do everything but the piccolo part. Chet says, well, y'all learn to put that piccolo part at the end. It's not all that hard to do. He said, I can show you how it works in there. It's just, it lays right in there real easy. I said, no, I want you to still be Mr. Guitar, see? So if I learned that, then I'd be able to do it too, and I would look up to Old Chester. But here's all of it, including the trombone parts and everything, possibly. We'll see. And this is for John Travis, respectfully.
If anybody has a question,
Somewhere my love.
Someone will, I don't think I don't remember that. I used to play a little bit. I'd be afraid to attempt that.
Victory Rag.
I don't know that, Steve.
Take that one first.
Well, I don't know how to answer that the best way I can. I've got crazy glue on my fingernail now. That was split now, so I'll put crazy glue
That
on
stuff's great.
to hold it together.
These three nails, I always worry about that they haven't been, well, I won't talk about what they haven't been, but they've held together pretty well lately. And what I do is, like Tommy said, with crazy glue, they get a split or something, I can crazy glue those things right up and just leave them alone. They'll take all kinds of abuse. One time I was playing, I was in Canada, and I broke a nail. I mean, it went bang like this. The whole thing was just gone. That was it. And then all of a sudden it sounded like this. So I called Travis. Travis, what do I do? I broke a nail. You don't pick for about a month. I said, I don't know, I'll give Chester a call and find out what he did. So Trav called up Chester, and Chet told him, well, have him go down to the beauty shop and have a porcelain nail put on. That worked real good. So Chet, Travis called me back up to Toronto. Chester said to go to the beauty shop and put on a porcelain nail. And any colors thing. That's through that part. So I did. I went down and they put this big, ugly white thing on there, and I'd always walk around, you know, like so. But it was a porcelain nail, and it stuck out, and it worked good. Travis finally got tired of breaking nails, and about the last 4 or 5 years, he was using a finger pick. Never used one, but he finally put it on a finger pick, and he said, I don't have to worry about my nail. Because he only worried about this one. He'd plan the other and just pick it. You know, I never could do that. So anyway, that's what I did. But crazy glue is the best thing I found. If you just rip one, you can put it right back next to it. Crazy glue, hold on it. Caps, if you have caps and they come off, you put some crazy glue on that.
How about the tip of your fingers? How do you keep them so tough? Just keep playing and they just stay tough, or any special thing you do to keep your noting?
Mine, I just try to keep the action as low so I don't have to go through any of that torment. But then just playing seems to toughen them up.
Keep your nails cut short, do you?
On this side I do. They're getting a little long now. I notice hanging up. Do you keep yours short?
Yeah, pretty short. Got some crazy glue on that finger. Might have said it.
If you use crazy glue, don't make sure you get it off before you fix it. Or grab a cord. Kind of like Les Paul, remember when he got in that accident, terrible accident or something one time, I don't know. This is all secondhand information, but it was told to me. And he had him, they went and broke his arm or shoulder or something, so it messed him up. They took him in the hospital and put a guitar and brought his arm up and got it like that. Les said, okay, set it right there. They set the thing and he had his wrist and he was able to keep playing. So the tail goes. Yeah. You said that.
I wanted to ask you, of course, y'all played Cannonball Rag a minute ago, but on the album with Circle B Unbroken, Merle played a little bit on that. He played about the second 2 verses. Do you know what he did that I've never been able to figure that out?
I have no idea. I've got a very interesting story that relates, Travis. I recorded an album. He called me one time in Los Angeles and he said, come to Albuquerque and cut an album on me. I'm going to pick a thing called Travis Guitar. So I went there and Travis would sit in the room, in the hotel room with his guitar, and he'd say, okay, I'm going to go. And he'd play it like that. He'd have these licks and he'd play everything perfect. So we go in the studio and people would come in because Merle was at the studio. So people would come in and stare at him through the glass. And that bugged me, you know, people staring at him. And people be looking at him. And we thought, oh boy, we're having trouble with Merle. And go in and say, you want me to ask these people to leave? No, they're friends of the man that owns you. Never ask them to leave. No, I'm fine. No reason at all. And you go back to the hotel room and you go. And you go back in the next day and. So we recorded, we did about 15, 16 songs over a period of about a week. And said, well, we'll have trouble. I don't know what we can use because people be staring at him and get nervous, and we trying to play whatever he expected them they wanted to hear, and we left it alone. Thought, oh, we'll have to edit this and get everything. So none of us really listened to it because it wasn't due. We didn't listen to the cassette or to the tape at all. And about 3 months later, it was time to get back in. Well, let's go back in and work on this stuff that Travis did and see what we can fix on it. We get in there, and all of a sudden, I forgot what he had played in the hotel room. And we were all looking at each other in the control room when he was playing, but I don't know what happened to that, how it rearranged itself. But I have spent hours trying to figure out how some of these licks come to be that are on that thing that he just was playing. You know, it's like, I asked him one time, I said, how'd you play that lick? And he said, I don't know. I didn't rehearse it that way it came out, and once I pick something and get it down, then I have to play it over and over and try to learn what I did so I can go out and play it. Because unlike Chet, Chet can play you what he's going to play, and it will be precise and exactly the same every time it's played, perfectly. You can count on it, you can listen to Chet at any given time, and it will be precise and perfect. Travis would, you know, whatever it was that was inside of him that came out through his hands onto this guitar is what came out, you know, and then if you try to compare it to what he did, it's not going to sound the same, but whatever it was magic, you know.
I think that's the best things that have been put on tape on the guitar.
Yeah, he probably has no idea what he did. He always got tickled at how he would tune something down, you know, and punch in a spot, or he said one time, I don't remember the song, he slow the tape down like when he played the lick, you know, and then it would come back. He only did it a couple times on one song. And he said, here is a lesson in keeping you humble. I slowed the tape down and put a capo on for this one break, and I played this little break, it just lasts that long, and then the capo come up and they splashed the two together, and I became no more did that because I was, you couldn't do it. He said, the interesting thing is, 14-year-old boy one time, his dad said, I want you to hear me pick. And he got his guitar. He didn't know I slowed the tape down. Find that funny? I don't know if I answered your question, but I talked a lot there. Well, I guess we're going to wrap this thing up. If anybody's got anything they want to know, we'd love to answer it. We're going to be around a little bit.
How do y'all practice? Do you schedule yourself, or
I don't.
pick it up? Or?
I don't have any time to practice anymore, really. When I was a teenager, that's all I did. I played all the time, 12 hours, 10 hours a day sometimes. But now I play just whenever I can. If I'm trying to learn something in particular, I practice a little more sometimes.
I'm just always pick, you know, and not really practice. To sit down in the woodshed is something I should do. I don't as much anymore because I'm all, you know, you find other things to do. But I'm always picking. I probably play 4, 5, 6 hours every day, just doing something. Yes?
Tom, before you leave, would you play I'll See You in My Dreams?
Yeah, we'll play that.
And Tommy, is that book going to be available today for sale? Did you bring enough copies for sale?
Yeah, it'll be here sometime today. It's in the van, and somebody's going with the van as soon as they get back.
You have a tape?
I will have. I don't have any today, but there will be a companion tape with the book.
Yes, sir.
Played Cascade.
Cascade. recorded an album of picking songs all on Merle's Gibson Super 400. And did Blue Smoke, and well, I did a whole bunch of things. And they didn't have it ready by this week. I wanted to bring a cassette here, so if anybody's interested in knowing about that when it's done, you know, you get a sheet of paper or something tonight, you guys can all write on it or anything, and if, when it gets done, I'll send you a card and let you know in case you want one of them. Hope we've been informative and entertaining at the same time, and glad that everybody came. It seems to look like it's growing each year. I know Merle will be very proud. And anything you have to say?
I just happened to think of one thing I'd like to mention. I just signed a contract with Fresh Magazine last week for a column that will be out in probably 2 months. I'm not sure which one should be on the fingerstyle cross picking. And a little run cross picking. So
That's that stuff that I was talking to you last night that tormented me, your book?
it's similar to the banjo chromatic or melodic style, like, or, you know what? I don't think I could play full tune all the way through the day in that style, but I'm afraid to try the chorus. Or like, let's see.
up and pick one, Elliot?
If any of you have any further questions for Tom, Tommy, you might catch them around during the day, but we're going to have to let them go for a while because they've got a busy afternoon ahead of them. But we sure do appreciate it. Let's have another big round, please. Contestant number 2 is playing Make Me a Palette, St. Louis Blues, and Too Tight Rag. Contestant number 3 is playing Bluebell, Everly Rag, and I'll See You in My Dreams. Contestant number 4 is playing The World is Waiting for the Sunrise, Bluebell, and Victory Rag. Contestant number 5 is playing Bluebell, Cannonball, and Bonaparte's Retreat. Contestant number 6 is doing Whispering, Ain't She Sweet, and Over the Waves. Contestant number 7, playing 9-pound hammer, green sleeves, and grandfather's clock. Contestant number 8 played Cannonball Rag, Liza, and I'll See You in My Dreams. Contestant number 9. Tunes are Blue Mountain Train, Bicycle Built for Two, and Stephen Foster Medley. brief intermission to give the judges a chance to stretch, and we'll be back again with contestant number 10 in about 5 or 10 minutes or so. And while we have an intermission, I might call your attention to a couple of things. Tommy Flint, who's one of our judges who's here for the contest today, is also an exceptional guitar player and has written a number of books for Mel Bay. And his latest book is out as of yesterday, and there are copies of that in the back of the auditorium. But I also like to remind you too that Marge and Debbie Rhodes, who are regulars on the Renfro Valley Barn Dance and the Renfro Valley Sunday Morning Gathering, are here this weekend, and they have recordings here. And so I'd like for you to look those over while you have a moment or two to do that. I don't think Marge and Debbie have theirs out this afternoon, but they will tonight. And so you might look over the records and tapes of the good music if you like it, and also concession stand is open. But we'll be starting back again in 5 or 10 minutes or so with the next contestant. Contestant number 10, play Avalon, Liza, and Arkansas Traveler. Contestant number 11, playing bluebell, grandfather's clock, and bastard pool.